Good morning, everybody. This is day 4, and we don't like to say we saved the best for last, but we did save a goodie for the last. Chris was here in April, and she did a talk, and the minute she got through, people came swarming out to the table, grabbed all of the DVDs. We had to make more. And they started saying, I need more time with that lady. And I think an hour and 15 minutes was not nearly enough time for her. So I called her and I said, Chris, would you come back and teach a full day in September? And she said, oh, I don't know about that. I don't think I could do that, a whole day. And I said, oh, come on. I know better than that. And she called me back and she said, well, I've thought about it, and I think I can do that. And I said, I do too. So Chris has come back to be with us, and we're so proud. Finally, after all these years of knowing about them, she and Jim, or better known as Smilin' Dave's brother, he showed up last night in a wig and a white shirt. He looked just like Dave. But anyway, we've got Chris back for a full day today, and she's going to teach you not everything she knows, I'm sure. So maybe she'll come back again sometime.
That would be
And
fun.
yeah, but we love you, Chris, and we're so happy you're here.
Thank you.
And she's Chris Goin, but I think she does use Anderson also. So this is her. Thanks,
Thank
hon.
you. Thank you. I am so excited about spending today with you. And my intention is to be able to impress upon you even just a smidgen of my excitement, because it is so, it's so life-changing, the opportunities that we have here today. I learned dowsing right here at ORI some 12 years ago, and after that, I proceeded to spend thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours trying to learn the same thing that ORI taught me. But you see, I graduated from college with honors, which is supposed to mean that I learned things pretty quickly. But this I just wasn't getting. I just wasn't getting it. But it wasn't because it was too hard. It was because it was too easy. It was too contrary to the way I thought the world worked. Yeah, see, a lot of you already knew that. It took me a lot of money, a lot of hours to get to that place. So you don't have to spend thousands of dollars. It was my honor to do that for you. I do hope that you'll spend hundreds of hours owning it, making it your own, integrating it into every aspect of your life, every aspect of your life. It is my intention to show you how extremely powerful you are, how you can make a difference not only in your own life, but in the lives around you and even the world. It's my intention to show you how very powerful you are. It's also my intention to show you the interconnectedness of us all. I mean, there's no such thing as being alone. I love this picture by Alex Gray, theologue. The scientists tell us that we see only like 5% of the world that we interact in all the time. So this is Alex Gray's depiction of the other 95%, the 95% that we can't see with our physical eyes, but is there nonetheless. So what we're going to do today is very much like building a temple of you. And for any building, any construction, we have to start with the foundation. And any good builder is going to have a floor plan. So I have my floor plan. I plan to look at it often because I want to lay the foundational bricks so that the next layer can be firmly placed on top of that. For many years now, I have been trying to teach what we're going to do in this whole day in like 3 hours. And Well, some people are here who have experienced that, and it'll be very different for me to have the whole day to really get it in so that you can own it. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's all about you owning it. Because we're at a time, and everybody has said this weekend, we're at a time in our evolution where we must step into our power. We must make a difference. And we can. So I'm going to show you basic techniques for healing yourself. And as we heal ourselves, we heal our lineage, forward and back. And as we heal ourselves and heal our lineage, we heal the world. And my intention is to prove this to you today. As I was learning dowsing, I was the proverbial doubting Thomas. I had to do test after test, exercise after exercise, and that's where this book came from. It's all of the experiments I did to prove it to me. Years later, I discovered that the attitude I had for that was perfect. My attitude was, I wonder if this will work. What will happen if I measure that? And so it was that state of being in wonder that taught my subconscious to step aside. It's when we have an agenda, when we have a preference, that it's hard to douse. Because our subconscious always wants to get its 2 words in, or usually 1,000 words. It usually has a whole lot to say. So in learning how to prove it to myself, I learned how to prove it to you. And I hope at the end you will tell me whether or not I was successful. I also hope that you'll come up with your own ideas for experiments and email them to me, because that's how we learn, that's how we grow. So I am certified in natural therapies, which means that it's my job to help people avoid drugs and surgery. So there's always a few things that come up when doing that, such as, why do I hurt? Everybody wants to know why they hurt. And when it comes to pain, the first thing to consider is posture. You know, our grandmother said, sit up straight. Oh, I see people sitting up straight. You know, it took a few decades, but eventually we pay a price. And our bodies are designed to be much like a puppet on a string, where the spine is directly above the hips, the head is directly above the spine. But many of us will stick our butts up, like our upper body wants to move faster than our lower body. And this is a real phenomenon. The upper body is our spiritual body, and it's always gung-ho. I'm ready, let's do it, I'll try that. And our lower body says, I'm staying right here. You're not moving me faster than I want. I don't like change. I'm just getting used to things now. So we have to train our body to be lined up like a puppet on a string suspended from the cosmos. So tailbone tucked under, pointed directly down to the center of the earth. Shoulders down and back. Oh my gosh, what we do to our shoulders. So when we go through life and life throws us curveball after curveball, the shoulders start coming in, up, over. And before long, our heart and lungs, which are designed to have this nice, free, open space, are very confined and just struggling to survive. Shoulders down and back. Head straight on top of the neck, not forward. Every inch you go forward, you put an additional 10 pounds of strain on the spine. So body posture, how easy is that? Well, we get into our habits, don't we? But if you are in pain, there are natural things you can do. One of the best things you can do is called the 2-minute breath. So if anybody is in pain now, what you would do is rate your pain, 1 to 10. And 1 being, well, it's not too bad. And 10 being, gosh, I could get me some help now. All right? When you rate your pain, you place your hands below the navel. So the science behind this is that right here is called the dantian. It's your battery compartment. And by putting your hands there, you activate it, you wake it up. Another reason why this is so effective is the number one cause of pain is inadequate oxygen. We don't breathe. We don't bring breath deep into our body. So by placing your hands here, you draw your breath below the diaphragm. Instead of just breathing in the upper body, you're breathing throughout your whole body. Another reason why this works, you have an electrical circuit that begins and ends in each of the fingertips. So by placing them together here, you're completing that electrical circuit. It's exactly like flipping on a light switch. And another reason why it works, to pay attention to your breath, you become a better breather. It's as simple as that. The number one cause of pain is inadequate oxygen. So the 2-minute breath. If we were to withdraw blood and put it under a video scope, and then you spend 2 minutes on focused breathing and withdrew blood again, the second time, each individual blood cell would be moving freely instead of being clumped, and it would be electrically charged. The white blood cells would be actively chasing parasites just from 2 minutes of breathing, intentional breathing. So it would be like comparing a couch potato with a marathon runner. That's how important just a couple of minutes of breathing is. Next we have, and of course meditation. There's lots of wonderful meditations to learn how to relax. And again, it helps you breathe better. So cancer and stomach, the remedies are very similar. The number one herb for preventing and healing cancer is always a competition between parsley and red clover. Now, parsley is very easy, but they don't even put it on our dinner plates anymore when you go out to a restaurant. I was always my parsley eater, but parsley and red clover. Baking soda. The cancer and many other diseases thrive in an acidic environment, but they can't survive in an alkaline environment. And if you look at a box of baking soda, it even has the instructions on the baking soda. It says like half a teaspoon a day. Oh, I'm sorry. She wants me to cut off my hair, I think.
Bring the sound down.
Say it was a 7. Most people will cut in half, so like a 3 when you after just 2 minutes of breathing. So baking soda, aloe vera. Aloe vera is a great healer for the body. We've been using it topically for decades. Our insides need it just as much. So easy remedy. I'd like the one without all the sugar. Arthritis. I had a client in her 90s who had lost use of her hands due to arthritis. She went on Zyflamend for 30 days and regained use. In another 30 days, she had no more pain. But Zyflamend so the number one cause of arthritis, or what causes arthritis, is toxins. Toxins get stuck in any moving part. So Zyflamend is a detoxifier. Detoxifying isn't always very fun. It can be kind of harsh. So some people, the Zyflamend is just too much. It's a blend of Chinese herbs. So alfalfa is more gentle. But Zyflamend isn't something that you would take indefinitely. You would take it for 60 days and then you're done.
How do you spell Zyflamend?
It's up there. Z-Y-F-L-A-M-E-N-D. Now, Donna Eden teaches us connecting heaven and earth, and we're going to do this again later, but just to demonstrate, when you rub your hands together and shake them off, that gets the energy moving in your hands. And then she has you step one hand up, one hand down, and then come back, and the other hand up, and the other hand. So this gets the energy moving in the joints in your upper body. I mean, really, Really, it's as easy as that. And then to do the whole spine and the lower body, you want to bend over. So beginning from the top down, and you slowly bend over until your fingers touch the floor, and then stand up in reverse. So very easy way to take care of arthritis. That is also the exercise for sleep, which seems kind of odd, but it works. It's just like it opens up the body. The body has to feel safe to sleep, so it opens up the body to allow the body to feel safe. And the other thing I like for sleep is figure eights. A lot of ailments, including cancer, is the result of a lack of communication in the body. So figure eights opens up that communication. So if I can't sleep, I like to just see that figure eight. When you close your eyes, you can become the voyager of the universe within. And many people here do that already, I know. But it's such an advantage to learn how to do that, because then you can see what's going on inside before it starts screaming at you. So yeah, I like to do the figure eights. I like to reconnect my body in whatever, and we're going to come back to that too. Herbs, there's a bunch of herbs there that are very effective. I've tried most of them. I don't like to use just one because the body can get sensitive. It can also get immune to it. So I usually have a variety and toss them around one at a time. Brain tap. Brain tap is a really neat device. It has goggles with flashing lights so that communicates with the subconscious, and at the same time it has headphones with the message that you need. So they have all sorts of different messages. Sleep is one of them, relaxation, health. So that's one of my favorite tools. Hearing loss comes up all the time. So if you were to stick out your thumbs and place them behind your earlobes and push hard, find that muscle behind your earlobes and push hard and push straight down to your shoulder. So any lumpiness or places that hurt, that reveals the health of your eustachian tube. And your eustachian tube reveals the health of your ears. You know, we're taught to brush our teeth and take care of that, but we're not taught to take care of our ears. So most hearing loss that I have witnessed is entirely preventable by keeping that eustachian tube clean. So again, if you have pain there, you have either wax buildup or fungus. So for the wax buildup, hydrogen peroxide. For the fungus, I like colloidal silver or ear oil. But ear oil doesn't have a fungicide in it naturally, so you have to add the melaleuca oil. So 1 ounce bottle, I just add like 10 drops of melaleuca. But it really needs to be a daily routine, just like brushing our teeth. Okay, so the other thing that I like to do when working with people is to work with their chakras, because the chakras give us a window to how we're dealing with life. So life has a way of sending us all sorts of challenges. So I'm going to ask the dowsing rods to choose something. You know, I was really excited about being the 4th day, because after all these experiences we've had all weekend, our awareness is just so sharp. Then I was also concerned about being the 4th day because, hey, I need somebody with some chakra issues still holding out. And I don't know, you might all be fixed. So I'm just going to ask the dowsing rods to select somebody for me. Is it Carla? It's Carla. Carla, are you willing? All right, awesome. If you would stand in front of the chair, I'm going to first in front and face me. So I'm going to first measure her overall, and that really just gives me a comparison. And then after that, I will break it down. So I like to work with the foot chakras, especially in a group like this. The foot chakras are our path. So if we don't know where we're going, we tend to walk with our feet pointed in both directions. Do you know people like that? So our foot chakras reveal whether or not we're walking the path we came here to walk. So first I'm going to measure Carla's overall. And when I do this, as you know, my intentions are first I connect with the highest frequencies of the earth. I connect with the highest frequencies of the heavens. And I bring both of those into the highest frequencies within me. And I do that in just one deep breath. And then I have to keep my thoughts totally focused on what I'm looking for, or they don't know how to answer me. Okay? So we'll get your overall first. Okay, so I'm going to mark it. We're going to use Amazonite to mark your overall. And then we'll do your foot chakras. So that's the same as your overall, roughly. So the mineral for the foot chakras is generally black. And then we'll do root. Oh, look at that. Your root's very strong. So your root is your family ties come from the root. Your strong family ties, sense of security. Okay, so we're going to mark that one with red. And then we'll do the sacral chakra. Okay.
Some work.
Yes. So the sacral chakra, that's our creativity center. So that's the womb. We all have a womb, men and women, and this is where we create our lives. This is where we create whatever it is we want to create. One theory about maintaining weight is that we just never had the opportunity. We never, all of those dreams, all of those things we were trying to create never came to fruition. So it gets stuck there. So you just get rid of that. Okay, and then we'll do the solar plexus. Oh, that's another one that's very strong. So we'll mark that one way out here too. And then the heart. So you're kind of all over the board. And so the heart, of course, solar plexus, that is our control center. That's our power center. So it's like finding that balance between needing control and being willing to give up control. So I would say you have a good sense of balance between there. The heart, of course, is all about love, allowing others to love you and you being willing to love others. And then, of course, it gets all of the heartache from life. And then the high heart. So for some people, the heart and the high heart are merging together and becoming one. The heart is kind of a personal love, whereas the high heart is a more universal love. It's like loving your place in the world. So we'll see your high heart here. So your high heart's actually very strong versus your heart. And then we'll do the throat. That one's very strong. So high heart and throat are going to be way out there. We'll use pink for the high heart. And then we have the third eye. That one's very strong. So the throat, of course, is our communication center. It's speaking as well as listening. So you're a good speaker, good listener. And then the third eye. The third eye is, it's our intuition. It's our ability to connect with the invisible world. And then the crown. So right with everybody else here. smaller than the rest. So our crown is our connection or our ability to connect with God. So we're an atheist. The only time I've found a closed or restricted crown was with an atheist. Yeah, very interesting. So you're all over the board. So I thank you for not being here earlier. You missed the rest of the weekend, but it makes you a good subject. Though we're not through with you. Okay. So I live in Missouri, the show me state. So you always have to prove whatever it is that I'm trying to get people to see. I like to prove it using energy testing, and I know you're all familiar with that. I don't know if you are. Yes, okay. So you've been energy tested before?
Well, I don't know.
No? Okay. So if you just hold out this arm and hold it strong. Hold it strong. Okay. So if I ask you how your throat is, hold it strong. Okay. And I ask you how your heart is, hold it strong. I don't even have to try. Okay? I'm trying. Okay. And your other low one was the sacral. Okay. So if we go to the solar plexus here, hold strong. Okay. And we go to the sacral, hold strong. I don't even have to try. Okay, so we need to do something about that. So when I asked the dowsing rods to find me a volunteer, I asked that volunteer be corded. So I know that many of you know what cords are. Energetic attachments that a manipulative person would send to somebody else. So, like, we would get courted in the root by somebody who wanted to rely on us for their security. We would get courted in the sacral area, generally if somebody wanted to manipulate us sexually. But, it's around the creative idea. We would get courted here if somebody wanted to control our actions. We would get courted in the heart if somebody wanted us to love them. We would get courted in the throat if somebody didn't want us to talk about something in particular. We would get courted in the third eye by somebody who didn't want us to see. So I believe that's how Jim Jones got so many people to commit suicide, because he had them courted in the third eye. So you, my dear, I feel one right here. And so when I asked for my dowsing rods to pick somebody who was courted, I also intended that they pick somebody who wouldn't mind allowing others to feel it, to find what it feels like.
Okay.
Yeah?
That's fine.
Okay. So we will have you, walk around the room
Okay.
So when we take a break, your job is going to be to find out which are your 1 or 2 or 3 weakest chakras. You can do it by symptom. If you have foot pain, then you're going to have small foot chakras. Root pain, low back pain, kidney issues, you're going to have a depleted root. Digestional stuff, intestinal stuff, you're going to have a depleted sacral. Solar plexus, that's the stomach, liver, gallbladder. Heart and lungs. Throat would be thyroid. The third eye, cognition, intuition. So you can go by symptom. You can go by, you can measure with dowsing rods. So we're still not done with you, okay? You can measure with a pendulum. So for me, a pendulum is too slow and not visible enough. But if you hold the pendulum directly in front of the chakra, it will spin, a healthy spin. And then when you're between chakras, it won't spin. And then when you come down again to your next chakra, you'll get a healthy spin. To me, it's just too close, too not visible enough. And it's too easy for me to influence. I want something where people are going to know that I'm not influencing it to the best of my ability. So when you're determining which chakras are weak, I can measure my own chakras. What I do is I imagine I'm going to remain at the wall, and I just walk forward, and I ask it to show me the outer edge of my energy field. I do have a bunch of dowsing rods here for you to experiment with. And what else do I want to do? We're going to fix you, don't worry. I want you to know how to, muscle testing is the most easily visible, if you ask me. So I want to show you the best way to muscle test. So first, the way I was taught is to always have 2 points of contact. So one hand is testing her strength. You know, I call this a muscle test, but it isn't. It's an energy test. So some people want to make a fist in order to make their muscles strong. You really need an open hand because what we're testing is energy flow. So I call it a muscle test. That's wrong. It's an energy test. So 2 points of contact. Go ahead and relax. Because if this other hand isn't contacting the person, then the response that she gives me might be about her body, but it might be about my body. Yeah, so 2 points of contact. And then placement. Placement is, if they were to bend, it's right after the bend. It's right on this side of the bend. If you go here, you're always going to get a weak response. And if you go too far this way, you'll get false, strong responses. Okay? And then do it gently. I had somebody once do it like this. There's no way I'm going to give an honest answer because I already feel like I'm under attack. So it's just a nice, gentle placement, 2 point contact. Have clear in your head what you're looking for because that's everything. I mean, that's everything. And, so when doing the chakras, you don't want to touch private parts. So what I did with Carla is I just put my hand into that energy field. So what I was asking is, if it's a strong energy field, then that's not going to disrupt anything. If it's a weak energy field, then the energy leaves her body and she goes weak. I can actually feel the energy leave her body, so I know if it's going to be weak or strong before she even gets there. So the reason why I want you to know your weak chakras is because it lets you know how you're doing with what life throws your way. Chakra strengths and weaknesses can change. If something breaks our heart, that's going to really draw in our heart chakra. But as a rule, your issue is the sacral, and it's been that way for a while. And the heart, the heart gets so beat up. That's exactly right. So when we strengthen this, we attract fewer situations that make us feel beat up. And we're going to do that today. We're going to learn how to find our weaknesses and make them our strengths. Yeah. So before we actually take a break and do that, let's do some more muscle testing, some more energy testing. How much time do you think you need to find out your depleted chakras? 10 minutes? 10 minutes? And then our break is,
So we're only 37 minutes in, so do we just want to spend 10 minutes of the time
let's do that.
and then take a break in about 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
What was that comment you made about putting your hand,
Yeah. So,
if you got both hands over here, then you can't.
yeah. So instead of making that second contact, I'm challenging her energy field. I only have to be in her energy field. I don't have to touch her. And in fact, she had some energy fields that were way out there. But these weak ones, they were way out here. So hold strong. Let me say sacral right there. Hold strong. Okay? And the solar plexus, hold strong. Yeah. Okay. So, yes.
You mentioned the high heart. What is the high heart?
The high heart is halfway between the throat and the heart. The heart is generally between the nipples. The high heart halfway. The high heart is more of a universal love. It's loving humanity. It's loving your place in the world. It's allowing the universe to love you as well.
Do you consider this a separate chakra?
It is a separate. You have 144,000 chakras because chakra is the same as acupuncture point. Now, I have not seen evidence, but I've heard that those two heart chakras are coming together. And maybe we'll learn whether or not that's true today. Generally, our chakras are lined up in the center, but they don't have to be, which is another reason why the pendulum can be difficult. So sometimes the heart chakra might be directly over the physical heart or on the other side. So that's why I like to use the rods or the energy testing. But many people like the pendulum.
Let me just say something real quick. Since you've been with me and touching me and in my energy field, my sacral was better.
Oh, wow.
Because I can feel your energy go through mine. Yours is coming
We don't
right
want to
into
fix
me.
you yet.
I'm sorry, I can't help it. Just being close to me, I feel it.
Okay.
But touching me, it's like a vibration.
Okay, let's see if we still have a weak response here. Let's go ahead and do what we can to.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see if we still have weak. Hold strong. Okay, you are much stronger. Well, that's not helpful at all. Okay, hold strong. Okay, so that one's still weak. All right, good. I haven't affected that one. Okay, so let's do this really fast.
May I ask a question? So you were talking about high heart, and I have heard, I have a crystal bowl that is tuned to the clown chakra,
The clown?
which is above the heart. Is the high heart also referred to as the clown chakra?
Clown?
Uh-huh.
I haven't heard of a clown chakra.
The fun center. It's
The fun
and they
center?
actually make the crystal bowls, they actually tune one that is called the clown chakra.
Huh.
And
That
it-
is kind of the joy center, yeah.
But it's between heart and throat, but I don't
That's
know if it's
probably
the high
it.
heart. Because they also have a high heart. So
Oh.
I thought you might know.
Yeah, there's 144,000 chakras. I don't know them all. Let's do an experiment really fast. Like, I'm sorry, but you with the hat? Yes. Okay, so we're going to work on her heart chakra. But actually, only you. Everybody else think about a pink elephant, okay? This will be our first experiment. Everybody else think about a pink elephant, and you work on her heart chakra. So some back there, yeah. So you can, what Gladys was teaching us was counterclockwise 7 times, and then clockwise 7 times. Now Donna Eden, she will tell you 2 minutes. Counterclockwise 2 minutes, clockwise 2 minutes. So he's doing that. Everybody else, your assignment is to think about a pink elephant for just 2 minutes. That's all it takes. It really isn't difficult. What I want to show you is that theologue, how if you want to be alone, I'm sorry, it can't happen. There's no such thing as being alone. You may enjoy your own private little space from time to time, but we can't be alone. Okay, thank you, sir. Let's see now. Okay, so I like to work my way to the chakra in question, because if I go straight to that chakra, they may say, well, I wasn't ready. So I like to work my way. So her solar plexus, hold strong. Okay. And heart, hold strong. Okay. And how's your sacral doing now? Hold strong. Oh, wow. Okay, so if you just turn around, we are going to see where you are now. So again, I'm going to ask for the overall. Yeah, the overall now is way out here. And then we'll ask for the sacral. Wow, the sacral is bigger than your overall. Okay, something's pulling you down then. And then the heart. The heart is big. So one of these was out here. Which one was it? Was it the third eye? Let's see where your third eye is. Huh? Root? Root was strong, yeah. There was something that was mediocre. Let's see, third eye, third eye, third eye, third eye. Yeah. So your third eye is still, right now, your third eye is the smallest. Was the crown small? Crown. Let's do crown. Okay. So the third eye, it isn't bad. It isn't bad. So
you fixed me.
it was, yeah, he fixed you.
Both.
Yeah. So because of that grid that connects us all.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Am I finished?
I don't know. We must have something else to do.
My knee is killing me.
So we're going to work on that. Yeah. So.
I felt it.
There's no such thing as distance. There's no such thing as distance. Greg Braden reported on an experiment that the government did, where this was back in the 80s. Oh my gosh, I'm not the only slow learner. Back in the 80s, the government did an experiment where they withdrew DNA out of a man and put him in front of a television and had him watch all sorts of different movies. And they put the DNA in another room. And they discovered that the DNA in the other room responded simultaneously as the man in front of the TV. They kept taking that DNA farther and farther apart until they were 50 miles apart. And still, the DNA responded simultaneously with the man in front of the TV. There's no such thing as distance. So that gentleman back in the corner was able to fix her.
7 times.
So, yes. So 7 times counterclockwise is what Gladys taught us yesterday. Donna Eden, like I said, teaches 2 minutes. 7 times counterclockwise to clear, to get rid of the old. And then 7 times clockwise to bring in the new. So I like to use my hand. This gentleman just did it. I don't know if you did any of that kind.
Yes, I did after.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's so many ways. There's no such thing as just one. So, and what I give you today, I want you to make it your own. There's always room to change something. And yeah, I really hope you email me with your experiments and experiences. Okay, so one thing that Gladys and I differ on is that I want your energy field to at least be out to your fingertips. Like when I was talking about when we get discouraged and the heart and lungs have to try to work in this confined space, that's also true with our energy field. When I was learning, I would measure the energy field of obviously sickly trees, and they would be tied up against the tree. A healthy tree, and the energy field would be beyond the tree, the leaves. So I learned that, and maybe that's just how I've programmed my rods. I want to find out the degree of health. So she started out like all over the place. And yes.
You have just before you ask a question?
So it's very easy for me to conceive somebody helping me fix all my chakras. It's a little bit more difficult to think every morning I'm going to go face the world, and is there something simple that helps
Yeah.
me make all my chakras as big as they can be to face the world every single day?
Yeah, we're going to do that this afternoon, but in the meantime, if you feel like your aura is depleted, a great way to build the aura is to roll up and down the central meridian. If you're very top heavy, if you spend a lot of time in your head, you want to roll all the way down to your feet. If you spend a lot of time in your head, your tendency is going to be to roll up here. No, get it down to your feet. I had this amazing massage once. It was 90-minute massage, so a nice length of time. And close to the end, I had a sensation where it just felt like every cell in my body woke up. I mean, it was just a tingling. And it lasted for a good 60 seconds. And afterwards, I tried to get out of her, "What was that technique you did?" And she just giggled. That was it. She didn't really have any kind of explanation. And so for years, I told everybody, "This lady is who you got to see." And then, yeah, just recently, I found out her technique. So her technique was that she could feel, I'm very top heavy, I'm in my head all the time. And she could feel that there was just too much going on up here, and she went, poof. That was her technique. She did what? She threw it down there. So I'm going to show you other ways of telling if you're grounded, if you're receiving that earth energy.
My understanding is when you go out in the world, you want your chakras pulled in so you're not kind of rubbing against each
Do
other.
you?
Your thoughts?
Well, you want to know what's going on in the world around you. So if you pull in, that limits your information. My hope today is to find out if there is a too big. I know that I generally am about 10 to 12 feet. When I find somebody bigger than that, it's very rare. And also, if I were to measure somebody's angel, it's going to be very huge. I don't know if there's a too big. I hope to learn that today. But I do know that in here, you're collecting all sorts of information. All sorts of information. You're collecting and holding on to. And we're going to do some experiments proving that.
I'm curious then, if someone were an energy vampire, would they have a very expanded one, or would they have a very, very tightly held auric field so that they could get into yours?
So Carla here has the cord. Let's see if that's still there. Yeah. So what happens when I touch that cord? Hold strong? Yeah. So that's a vampire.
Well, get rid of it.
Yeah. So as long as that cord is attached, this chakra is not going to hold its energy.
I knew there was something, but I didn't know it was that.
Yeah.
I could sense it.
Yeah. So vampires, there are vampires, and it's not that they know what they're doing intellectually, but it does happen. So how are we going to do this? Does anybody teach a technique? Is it fast and easy? Okay.
Just sort of Michael is one technique. So you imagine the Archangel Michael, and when you ask the Archangel Michael to cut the cord. So do I have your permission? Of course. So we cut the cord, and then various schools of thought talk about putting gold light or some kind of light on each side to kind of seal it off, and that's it. Easy
Great,
peasy.
great, thank you.
Okay. And then we ought to check the front too. Whew. Easy peasy. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So we can call on angels. We can also take care of it ourselves. And ideally, we learn to recognize it when it's happening. And it usually feels like a pinch. I mean, if you're getting a little pain that you don't know what it's coming from, it feels like a little pinch. When I once had a very manipulative man in my life, and it was before, I knew about cords, but I wasn't corded, right? This cord that was pulled out of me was like this big, and I nearly lost consciousness when it was pulled out of me. So after that, I knew I had to be careful. There's some people who are so susceptible to allowing others, helpers. People who want to help end up being the victim of a vampire. Yeah. So, so to learn what it feels like. A different time I had a very manipulative man in my life, and I could feel it coming, and no, I'm not going to allow it. But he was so persistent, I finally hung a mirror here, and the mirror reflected it back to him, and that took care of it. And I held it there or put it around my neck long enough for him to grow weary, I guess. Yeah, yes.
I have a little bit of a comment about the term energy vampire, which I know a lot of people use that term, but I guess in order to maintain more compassion for that other person and for me to not be in a victim space that they're being a vampire to me, I try to see that as that person is a person that doesn't know how to get their energetic needs met,
Right,
or they don't
right.
know how to self-fill,
Right.
which is a way to maintain more compassion for that other person,
Right.
because we're all just trying to get our energy needs met on this 3D experience, and some people don't know how to do that without taking other people's energy, unfortunately, and it's not comfortable when it happens, of course, but just food for thought.
Yes. So let's take advantage of this opportunity to send some love to the person that this came from. Because exactly what Bonnie said, that person was hoping that you would fulfill that need that they were not getting fulfilled. So if we get...
She turned my mic off. May I offer something that I use?
Yes.
Because of what was just said. This process started with me with Raymond Grace, who says energy just is. You can use it for good or bad. It is not inherently good or bad, it's the intent. So instead of turning energy away, accept all energy, and as soon as it hits your chakra field, your energy field, just set the intention that it automatically be transformed into the most beneficial energy for you there. And then if someone tries to attach or send you anything, you can turn it into the best energy for you. You're making use of that energy. If they're sending it to you, say thank you. Put it to work for yourself instead of turning it away. Just an offering.
I would love to experiment on how effective that is, because I don't have any experience in that. So please come up with an experiment, and we'll do it. Okay?
Okay.
So yeah, let's send love to the person that sent this, and also love to it right here, because right here it's exactly like pulling a weed out of the garden. It leaves a bare spot. So now hold strong. Okay, good. Oh, and I fixed that without letting you guys feel it. Ooh. So for me, it's exactly like putting my hand through an electrical current. So it can be really strong, it can be more subtle, it can be a fat electrical current, or it can be a hairline. But for me, it's like going through an electrical current. So let me see. Oh, you have another cord. So maybe we haven't fixed it yet. Okay, let me see here. So when we decide we're not going to love somebody anymore, we'll close off our heart. They're not getting in there. And on some level, that person will figure that out, and so they'll go close to the heart. There. Okay. So it's right behind your right shoulder. So we're going to let people pick up on that, just to give them an opportunity to find out what it feels like. Is there anybody else who thinks they might be courted? Yes? Okay. So during our break, if you would let people find that. Don't get rid of it, okay? All right. So if you would come.
Will you get rid of it when I'm
We will. Don't let us not get rid of it. Okay. Would you come up and let's do you? Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to do it the same way. We'll first find the outer edge of your energy field, and that just gives us a comparison. So your outer edge of your energy field is way out here. I have to collect all my markers. Okay. So outer edge is way out here. And then we'll do your foot chakras. Okay. We're going to mark that one in black. And then we will do the root chakra. That one's strong. Do you have strong family ties? And then we'll do the sacral chakra. Sacral. That one's pretty good. And solar plexus. That one's very strong. And heart. Okay. So this hasn't happened, but one reason why I like to use two, again, it makes it visible for you, but for me, they open up to find the outer edge. They close to represent that chakra is really in trouble and not letting anything through. So then we'll do the high heart. That one's very strong. And the throat. That one's strong. And the third eye. So that one's weak. Okay. And we'll do the crown. You know what we didn't do on Clara is the hand chakras. So let's do Chelsea's crown. That one's very strong. And the hands. Okay. So the hand chakras in a room like this are going to be very important because there's a lot of healers here. So the hands are all about energy exchange, giving and receiving. So Chelsea's hand chakras are very weak, and we want to open that up, but there also is some caution there because you can receive so much information, so much energy that it's not good for you. You can get sick. So one technique that I learned that I needed for a very long time was to imagine a spigot here. So their energy would go into my hand, I would turn on that spigot, and the energy would flow out. So it was more of a Reiki technique where you're the conductor of the energy rather than having it filter. So you want to find that balance. So you want to make sure that you're not going to just be the guinea pig. So we want to work on your hand chakras, your foot chakras, the heart, and the third eye. Okay. So we're going to prove this through energy testing. So if you just hold strong. Okay. And then again, hold strong. So I don't even have to try, but she's trying really hard. So, yeah, it'd be great if we had two people that people could feel what it's like. It takes me just a moment to tune in. Okay. Yeah. So it's right here. It's kind of, I made you jump. Isn't that interesting? Like maybe some level of your being, you knew that one was back there. So are you willing to allow other people to feel it?
Yes,
All right. Okay. So we want 10 minutes for you to find your own depleted chakras. We want a 15-minute break, is that correct? So if we just made it half an hour. Again, you can go by symptom. You can use the dowsing rods. You can measure your own chakras or do it for somebody else. You can do it through energy testing. You can do it through a pendulum. Many ways of knowing what your strong chakras are and your weak ones. And again, the advantage here is to learn how your body is responding to what life throws your way. And, huh?
It's 10:05.
10:05. So, 10:30? Can we be back by 10:30? And then it's going to be a fun session after that. Okay? I have dowsing rods up here for you to borrow. Or I can, yes.
Because I only have one.
And you don't have to have two, but
Thank you, Chris.
Uh-huh.
Please tell me again how you find the holes, the cord. How did you find the cord?
so if you just feel here, it feels different, right?
Let me see.
Right, yeah.
Oh, here, right? Is
Yeah.
it here?
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
then my finger and my hands tingling and then kind of feel. Oh, okay. So how do you define the small one? Just in the center where you feel, and then the center. Where's the hole? Just in the. How big is the
How
hole?
big is it? I come up with about like that. It doesn't matter so much.
But when you
of-
seal it, you need how much area you seal, right? So
Yeah.
the size doesn't make it. Just seal big. It's safe.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, okay. So you just do the whole body, and
The
then
depleted chakras give me a direction to start.
oh, okay,
Because.
I'm so glad you're here.
Oh,
because
thank
I
you.
learned from Donna even too.
Ah,
Can we have a partner like we can have muscle testing? I think that's better, right?
it's personal preference.
So we can just put our hand here and test, right?
It works great.
I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
because-
glad you're here.
yourself if you don't use a partner? How do you
I
do this if you don't use a
I
partner?
can use a pendulum, I think. Are we?
I'm so sorry.
So I pretend I'm going to stand here, and I walk